we see now is that since the world is changing and people, consumers, all stakeholders of society are demanding a more sustainable world, that means that business decisions, financial decisions, public decisions and just consumer decisions will integrate this new factor, which is impact. So the better and the more your impact, the better your ratio of risk will be, and the more your profitability, your financial profitability will be as well. So the impact management project is a principle, is a framework, is a set of principles set by 10 to 15 most important and emerging organizations that have been working on impact measurement in the last 10 years. So the good news about the IMP, the Impact Management Project, is that it's not just about choosing what's the best methodology, but about understanding what are the most emerging and most important, and setting a standardization or like a common foundation for all of them, so at least you will ask the same questions whether you took one methodology or the other one. And that means that part of this group there is the principles of responsible investment, the GRI, the OECD is there as well, the Global Impact Investment Network, SASB, which is a methodology that works for corporates. There is a number of them, and what's also very interesting that has emerged as a common good. Okay, so and what I mean is like for the last 3 years there are more than 2,000 organizations, from large asset managers to foundations to corporates, that have been working together on setting a common framework. So this is not about a consulting company saying this is the methodology. It's about building consensus, and that's what we need right now. So Foro Impacto led the entry of Spain to the GSG, and once we are in, there is a body that represents the whole ecosystem, the Spanish ecosystem in front of GSG. That's the National Advisory Board, which is made of 16 people representing the ecosystem. Yeah. So now Foro Impacto is the executing arm. It's the technical secretariat of the Spain National Advisory Board. That means that this national strategy I mentioned, that with 5 recommendations, has been validated and under the consensus of the NAB. And now the mandate for Foro Impacto is to execute this, obviously together with the NAB members and with the broader community. When we talk about impact investment, for example, impact investment, it's a sort of like a terminology very niche, no? So it's impact investment was born from the venture and the private equity industry. Was born like from angel investors, venture capitalists, Sir Ronald Cohen, was about investing in the innovations that will solve the humanity's problems, either social or environmental. So that means that it's not about, originally it's not about the financial markets, but about private capital markets. So when you come and you bring large institutions like Caixa banks that do operate in big, large financial markets, and that are not that close to real economy and not that close to startups, to innovation, but are really high, it's not about going wrong, but it's about not being that close to
being disconnected.
Exactly. So what we have to be very careful is that engaging with very large institutions, but keeping them connected with the real world.
And grounded.
Exactly. So that's the challenge. It's not about going wrong. It's a challenge, and it's something that we have to push. And so I think the solution for that is precisely cross-sector cross industry, and also cross profiles, if I may say. It's about putting together in the same table a very large institution with a private equity or venture capital, or even with a foundation or startup. I'll say they all together will exchange knowledge and experiences, and that was the success of Foro Impacto.